getting that solo kill in his matchup in this exact 1v1, and it's also taken away the Galio that would have mitigated a lot of the threat that Sylas can bring. That taunt from Galio is so disruptive to any dive threat.
Oh, I was actually thinking one of the biggest counterpicks we've seen to the Xin Zhao is the Kha'Zix, but I think the Viego works a lot better with the comp. A lot of upfront burst and CC available here. And this Xin Zhao pick, Oner is great at it. It works with T1's skirmishy style, but into a Sylas, giving him that additional power.
What's he been cooking?
A really big ultimate could be something. This would really lean into the composition that T1 have drafted so far.
Taking their time. Keria playing with our hearts right now.
Oh, come on!
I mean, it's whatever he locks in, it's probably iconic. It's new or it's iconic. All right, the Ahri. Okay, more conventional than expected, most certainly.
All right, so in the end, after all of that...
Yeah, we built it up. It could have been anything.
Come
it's
on,
still
Keria.
Ahri.
After all of that, it comes all the way full circle back to a very strong jungle mid 2v2 here for you to have. Cronicler, you mentioned how much Oner loves to duel, with this champion and take those heads-up plays with the Ahri here. Charm to set up. Charm Flash, very reliable.
This game, I know in game one we got a lot of promises of action. I think it was an incredible game, but there weren't that many actual fights. I think this time around it's got to be different, right? We have, particularly in terms of mid-jungle 2v2, such volatile...
Giving Sylas dashes feels bad in team fights, and it feels bad if you don't have that damage. And for Xayah, a champion who, yes, can protect herself, but doesn't have the mobility to follow up if Sylas is running away, if he's trying to dash around, can make the fights tricky to execute, but thus far T1 have executed better. But Cronicler, to your point, this game, there's no more low-stakes engages. There is only really full commit.
There is only death.
There is only full. There's Ahri fishing and Ezreal fishing. Everyone else is going all in.
And particularly, again, I want to go back to this. One of the champions you're not allowed to pick, or if Sylas picks it into it, is Alistar, because it makes him so insanely tanky. I know a lot of the members on T1 are low range, but even then, Xin Zhao ultimate to me is so insanely strong when you have the damage and the ability to get in the middle of a fight and split it up.
And let's take a moment to talk about Creme, because Creme is here at his first World Championship. He's the only player that's not been to a World Championship here among all of these veterans, and he is an excellent Sylas player. His second most played of all time. You talk about really good ults to steal. The Rakan ult is another very, very good option for him to steal, along with the Ahri ultimate. There are even some angles sometimes for Xin ultimate steals. And so for Creme here to be going against the most legendary mid laner of all time at Worlds, with how T1 are now performing at Worlds, it's very, very big for him to get one of these really comfortable champions and show us what he can do when Sylas has really been so much a part of the recent meta.
A champion with so much individual agency. Meiko and JackeyLove looking to take control in that level 1 bot lane. Ezreal, of course, before that first back, notoriously very strong as long as those Qs are connecting. But it's well highlighted. Kobe, I mean, it's so tough to be Creme. There's so much story. There's so much baggage. There's so much narrative around every player in this matchup, except for him. He's coming in clean. He's coming in fresh. You know, first time in a series like this, at a stakes like this, at Worlds like this. And so he knows it's important for him to do well, to show up, to make sure that his teammates with those stories against T1 can really find those victories.
Yeah, there's really like two ways you can respond to so much pressure and so much hype. Sometimes, you know, you get a little worried and you can get a little shaky, or sometimes you can just get excited by the fact that you get to go against such a big name and try and go for those huge outplays. Let's see if the mid-jungle fights actually are as explosive as we're hoping, because both junglers have started bottom side, and they're pathing upwards to the top triangle of the map where you have, you know, two very explosive matchups here in both solo lanes. So some good options for both Oner and Tian to kind of flex.
Damage is going to feel good for T1, but whenever I see a Viego, I'm always going to look, how good is your upfront burst? Viego fights function the best if you can lock someone down, blow them up, and get those resets going. Meiko looking to impact mid here, similar to what Keria did in the previous game. Faker's lane is pushing away from him.
Creme using the last of his pots. Of course, no inspiration tree means no cookies. He's doing okay thus far. First push out in top lane for TES, working out well. First push out in bot gave Meiko a bit of time to check in mid lane. We'll keep our eyes, we'll get closer to that first grub spawn. T1 were really able to take that for free despite the early action. Creme now, big chunk of damage, that electrocute proc hurting. Of course, for Creme with Conquer, it's going to feel great later in the game, but early on, it's so difficult. Charm Flash, flash response from Creme. Well done by Faker.
Yeah, going to be traded flashes, so an offensive flash is as easily punishable as a defensive one, and after the teleport back, let's see, since it's going to slowly push the other way. Junglers both recalling, though, and you're getting just a re-clear here from Tian. Tian being very efficient on the Viego. As Krugs are coming up, he kind of hovers bottom side and should be a little bit ahead of pace in the junglers' options for maybe affecting these flashless mid laners.
And there's a limited window of time, as we know, because both of these post-6 are going to be either extremely hard to kill, extremely mobile, or both. Sylas can easily steal that ultimate from Oner, become more tanky in case of a 2v2, as we now get the first couple of backs to come through. Nothing crazy thus far. Faker is still holding on to his TP, so any trade he makes now with Creme, he's going to be feeling great about, and first objectives are starting to come up on the map. You have the early Ocean Drake again setting up for a strong soul here.
Good wards as well, knowing that it was a red side start there for Tian. And it looks like that ward's going to pay off right now. Does give them vision as he enters towards the river, so Faker can back off.
Tian walking up to the top side of the river. Has one camp to clear if he wants to go for wolves, but I suspect Grubs and control of the Grubs area is going to be the bigger name in the game. T1 in the bottom lane, already getting push out. If they can get a recall, if they can remaneuver to the top side of the map, they should be favored in the Grub fight. LCK team's notorious for prioritizing this objective head and shoulders above something like the Drake. Our featured matchup presented by Mercedes-Benz. No surprise we're talking about the junglers. Tian, a bit of a struggle in game one. Both players this time around, Tian and Oner, obviously a lot of tools to make these individual plays across the fights.
That's a big difference. In game number one, on the Ivern, Tian's just not going to have the same agency that he does, much more supportive in how he has to play, trying to enable the rest of his teammates. Not going to be the case here on the Viego. Really want to try and go for those big pop-off fights as T1 rotating over everyone towards these Grubs. Mid lane Prio being caught by Guma and Keria, and we might have a brawl on our hands.
Green level 6 can take any ult he wants. Bit of poke coming in from Tian. But again, Oner and Faker already starting on the objective. TES a little bit late here.
2 ults available for the top laners.
369 trying to come down, but forced to use that taunt. Looks like it'll be a bit of a brawl here. One stolen away by Tian. Okay, matching Grubs, TES late for the contest, but T1 debating if they really want to re-enter this area. Mid wave and bot wave in a relatively neutral position, so neither side is losing anything to be here, and Tian gonna walk away with 2. Good contest from TES, despite the initial lack of priority.
Yep, go in with Smite, grab the other one. T1, though, still sticking around to clear out the vision. And we get the double recall reset to the other side of the map. Dragon, of course, available.
TP is still there. 369 just TP towards bot. We'll see if Zeus feels forced, or looks like with the wave state as it is, he'll be able to hold on to his. That's going to be something that T1 might look to play around. Small early advantage here for TES, but because they did also commit 5 people, the cross map for T1 not available.
If the duel does break out in mid, the flash is still not available too, so we're going to see the supports as they make their way down. Slight vision advantage here for TES.
Don't know about that ward.
Little poke coming out topside from Jackie, but he's running out of mana rapidly. Meiko finding initial stun on the Keria, but the 2v2 is tough here. Sylas, the potential to steal away this Ahri ultimate, the additional sustain he has from his W means 100-0 with a support who doesn't have Ignite is a tricky proposition. Don't want to get too aggressive, but Guma pushing the wave out, knowing that Jackie has no mana, he's forced to recall. This is a bit of free time farming topside. They see 369 assigned here. They know JackeyLove will be heading bottom, but crucially, 369 arriving in time to stop that plate from going over. T1 seeing Galio topside, no TP. Yes, he has ulti, but it's going to take him time to walk down, so they're happy knowing they have man advantage to just take the Drake.
Not going to be a timing window here, and you see 369 realizing that as well. Woo. So we have 2 Ezreal steals already this tournament. Not going to be the case here. T1 get the dragon, so the early Grub, they get their revenge.
Guys, remember when we promised that they were going to fight and beat each other up a lot?
Yeah, I know.
Did you promise that?
All I'm saying is,
no, that was
you have more hours casting T1 than either me or Kobe combined. So
I promised it would be a banger series, and I still feel like we can fulfill on that promise.
Yeah, banger like chess is a banger, though, not banger like MMA is a banger, maybe.
Yeah,
You know?
honestly, though. The tension that just builds when we do have trades like this towards the mid-game. And honestly, to your point, like, we've fully waited out the entire flash timers of both Faker and Creme that were expended in mid lane in a matchup that can be very volatile, with two jungles that can get very aggressive. Now that they have their level 6s, of course, Viego, you know, does have the option for potent
Zeus
executes, and has made his way up.
Baiting if he's safe here. He's staying so far back with the Electro Harpoons. But you can see Oner on the way.
Doesn't trust it.
Who's baiting who?
Wait, Creamy's on his way, though.
They know.
Zeus now he spots it. He's going to start to back up. Oner there to shadow if he needs. They know Creme is on the way first. Nice layering of the CC. Tian, is he going to fall with the ulti? The answer, no. Happy to just get the flash. Good play from TES.
What does Faker get here in mid lane? How quickly can he push on the tower? The turret plate is half gone, so.
That's going to be a flash, because 369 actually flashed as well aggressively to try and set up that play. That said, I think the Galio is so much harder to take down, particularly this early on in the game, with the Spectre's Cowl. The entire top side, the only damage that's going to be relevant towards him is basically just Oner, who doesn't really want to spend his time doing that. So I think today is definitely a lot easier to punish if TES see an opportunity to do so, as T1, yet again, changing these lane assignments, sending Fake towards top.
369 should be easy for him to get the push here, but you saw at the end of that play, obviously Equalizer used to clear the wave, which stops 369 from potentially getting a tower or a tower plate in response. So good use of those cooldowns, as now we have the Sylas versus Rumble matchup on the side lane.
And again, really good early setup here. T1, they rotate their duo into mid lane. So does TES. They're looking for the second grubs. But because Keria actually got there a little earlier, Keria's got great positioning and...
Initial engage, JackeyLove flash forward from Oner. Response from Jackie, the flash, the arcane shift out.
Oh yeah, Oner had the final auto prime there, so was desperate to get that off. Instead, it's going to waste his flash, but
there.
The damage is still done.
Tian?
It's Keria.
He's still
Keria.
here.
He's been waiting there for about 30 seconds. Tian able to make it out. But Tian obviously has push in topside, so they have an angle to play. JackeyLove staying in the area despite not having any summoners.
Oh,
That's
early
a
smite from
steal.
Oner.
Grabbing the third grub. Fourth is what they want. TES, can they find the fight? Nice charm on the side. Immediately they find the killer they were looking for. JackeyLove caught out. 3 stacks available for Faker. Nice Ezreal coming in for JackeyLove, but the damage not enough. Feathers flying out. Members falling for the side of TES as T1 again managed to find a favorable fight. But Faker's not done. Faker! He gets the double!
And TES, the reset champion taken out as the start of the fight. JackeyLove chunked. And still they commit, and it's a disaster for them early on in this game.
Double taunt comes in. 369 just gonna walk away, trying to get control of the wave. 3 for 3, the grub score, but Faker, and this is what's infuriating. You talked about it, the man didn't have the best summer, but when it comes time, when he needs to step up, he just always does.
And again, the call from TS, look how low Jackie is. That alone is a big risk, but disengage the CC, charm into knock up. And that's so much of your early damage and skirmishing power already gone, and Jackie can't approach.
Faker gets in the brush. He knows he has a control ward with him, and Tian just walks up to it.
Oh, the banana brush
and this is
control.
the flash that was burned earlier by Oner. T1 communication has been great. Again, that vision control was set up earlier by Keria. He was waiting in that bush for 45 seconds. And while TES came to a play that was 1 minute in the making, it was T1 who came 2 minutes ahead of schedule, ready to set this objective up.
And not always lost for TS, but I again want to highlight both these compositions are outside of the Ezreal, effectively melee. All their effective damage is going to take place from very close range, so falling behind is so much more debilitating than it is if you have a lot more space to play with, maybe play around your poke, play around your long range. That's not the case here.
T1 are showing the killer instinct here in the game, and TES are just looking sluggish, walking up to them, not respecting vision control.
And remember, I think we have to talk about Tian, right? Like, the first game wasn't great, but we can say, hey, you didn't have the most agency on the Ivern, but getting caught like that on the Viego, we talked about it. You have the chance to turn this game around, to be the one finding the resets, but if you're getting caught, there's just as much accountability in those moments. You cannot afford to make mistakes
this might
like
be the
that.
make or break moment here. TES trying to take this dragon, and it looks like T1, they are just going to trade, so no breakout fight, and particularly on Viego, the reason why this champion has so much safety is because of the ult and the buffer. You can buffer basically any form of CC by just making sure that you hit the timing right. So as a Viego, just being in that position and having to use your ult, that's rough. But you need to stay alive, otherwise that fight is always a wash.
Just looking sluggish, not expecting it. And Faker just got to mine a bunch of money off of this turret in exchange for the bot side play there for TES.
Oh, Swift Drift? You love to see it.
Faker was already so far ahead off those 2 kills that he
chasing.
just got.
Delaying the recall for now. Charm already out. Creme not going to chase, but gets the ulti. Small advantage. Will TES be able to capitalize on that cooldown not being available? Obviously difficult with the Malignance completed, but a potential window of opportunity. Excuse me.
Yeah, Creme with a nice little jump there, but as you mentioned, the ultimate cooldown so low with Malignance, and I've been really funneled into Faker pretty early off the 2 kills, now some extra turret plates, and he is the largest gold lead on the team because of it.
And in game 1, T1 outplaying around the map, not giving fights to TES, but this time they're taking fights, and it's resulting in a much bigger gold lead much sooner in the game. And you talked about melee compositions. If it's melee versus melee, who's ever ahead is usually coming out on top or favored in these fights. TES trying to fight back. Bot wave in an even state, top wave in an even state. They're sending Creme up, hoping that they can get control of this Herald area. Skuma perhaps caught out. They'll at least get the cleanse.
Good start to the fight, and it's the CC that's going to have to be crucial here for TES.
Zeus.
Need to find a target, isolate them, and take them down immediately.
But you can see they're uncertain. Zeus caught between multiple members of the team, but they don't want to pull the trigger. Instead, focused on the objective here.
They can STP.
Faker is TPing. It's to a very safe ward here, and the
Ulti in 5 seconds. Fakers will be available.
Objective's
Herald
gone.
gone. Do they want the exit fight? Instead, focusing on mid.
Big win for TES. They just get the teleport, get the objective, and get out.
Honestly, yeah. To see some decisiveness there and get the extra cooldown, that teleport that you mentioned, actually quite big here. So TES starting to bring it back.
Keria, decent sidestep. Creme on the way in. Stolen Ahri ultimate. But giving that respect, not having perfect information, not wanting to fall face first into a waiting rumble in his ultimate. TES instead looking at the objective. Zeus might be forced to use the equalizer to clear the wave here.
And even though they weren't able to actually make it happen, we've seen the mental resilience of this TES team in International. Even go back to MSI, they were down 0-2 to Gen G, turned that into a grueling 5-gamer, almost getting the reverse sweep. And this goal deficit, it's rough, but you can still fight your way out of it. Again, stands or falls, but how a fight starts.
All of these last objectives go the way of TES. They get the Dragon, they get the Rift Herald, they get the top tower.
Comes.
Breaking open mid is big here. That much more control over the map, potential.
That's Jackie.
JackeyLove in. T1 starting the fight, spinning around, not quite sure where they want to go. T1 stopped the Herald charge from being effective, and they're going to keep the fight going because they see JackeyLove hightailing it out of there. Bit of an awkward exchange. TES get no value out of this Herald.
Jackie drunk? What's going on? That was a full circle there. He ended up not wanting to go all the way in because of the positioning of Keria.
It's a bad sign when your Ezreal nopes out at that point, but Creme fishing for the 1v1. Faker still 1 dash remaining. Again, I think in the isolated 1v1 Creme, you'd expect to be pretty favored, just given the sustain innate in the kit, the additional CC he can bring when he has the Ahri dashes available.
I like that little release of tension, though.
Yeah.
from the mid lane. Everything had been building and building and building.
It's like the design team planned to give us comedic relief in high-stakes League of Legends when
Rift
they allowed
Herald.
Herald to be driven.
Rift Herald is truly a gift.
There's a lot of moments. You know, they can be great, they can be heartbreaking. Certain players, I mentioned already, that maybe are not allowed to drive
Not
anymore.
allowed to drive, nope. That said, this one not great or heartbreaking, just a little awkward.
Just
TES, yeah. They're going to give up a bit more pride than they would have wanted, a bit more of 369's health bar, but all's well that ends well, and for now at least they're holding on to their mid lane tower. That said, Herald could have been big, could have been a lot of money for them, so not getting that advantage is going to hurt TES, but you can see that while T1 had about a 2K gold lead earlier on, it's getting closer and closer as TES pick up more resources across the map.
I hope that we actually get a confrontation on this Drake, because currently Zeus is recalling to go purchase, and then he should head on down for this objective. Does have his teleport, so he can actually go catch the wave and then threaten with his teleport to come join the fight. Meanwhile, 369 Galio ultimate is ready. You have to be careful. T1, you're going to have to try and draw out the Galio ult without fully committing to the fight.
Take a reset. If TES are aware, they can go in now with no fear of being down a man.
OTP just yet. It's available soon, but not in time. So TES First to the objective, able to get the mid lane prio, set up shop, and T1 with that rotation over of Zeus. Looks like they do want to contest.
They do. They leave top wave in a relatively even state. Bit of poke coming in from Creme. Has stolen away the Rakan ultimate. Ready to go. Zoning away, 369. TES, priority setup. T1, what's the angle here?
They hold the choke.
Meiko ready to go over the wall. Blast cone there as well. 3K. Oner looking to get involved. Good interrupt coming in from Meiko. Equalizer now coming out in the midst of the entire team. Excellent Galio to follow, but Meiko's getting damn low. Creme getting lower as well, and Faker finally getting involved in the fight. Guma untouched on the backside, but he can't get any further forward. JackeyLove on the way out. Objective to TES.
No flash on 369 though.
Likely to fall here.
He's a chicken trapped in the pit.
Well, good play from TES overall. They do have to pay with the life of their chicken top laner.
Giving up a kill for a Dragon, you're going to take that for sure. T1 looking for a little bit more than that, I do think. We'll see. They might be able to, with how low the health bar on this mid lane turret is, push it further, but it looks like they don't want to take the risk. And Jackie going untouched in that fight, I think, is a large reason of why T1 didn't commit further. Still flash on Oner, still flash on Faker. And when we look back at this fight, we'll see that a lot of the damage actually goes into the front line, I think, here for either side. Oner's ult in particular, spreading up the fight, makes it really hard to actually get damage on the backline for either side.
And I think Meiko's performance is crucial in that fight because he stops Keria with the ultimate, with the initial Shattering Strike to interrupt the dash onto JackeyLove to get Ezreal out completely. And while T1 probably favored at that point in the 5v5, TES, good discipline to just retreat. Yes, they do have to watch their chicken get fried in the middle of that dragon pit, but I think a worthwhile cost overall.
Yeah, and you can see T1 very cognizant of trying to use their dash champions, Faker and Keria, to go in and then bait out a Galio ult and then dash away to try and avoid. But as you mentioned, Meiko kind of locks them in with a good Rell kind of pulling them back. And in the end, a price to pay for the objective, but still getting to Dragon number 2. T1 though, reset immediately, and now we're looking at top tower. At least what remains of it.
Should just fall here. Creme really cannot clear the wave fast enough. T1 usher that wave in, watch it fall, but it'll be traded back by 369 on the opposite side.
That even further, and we haven't talked about it yet, is now just on the map is the Baron. Whichever team is going to have to try and play in the Baron with the wave clear that they have on either side is not going to be feeling too hot.
Definitely not. But I'm just going to call out JackeyLove right now in a fantastic position. Ezreal has the extra range. He should always be able to get mid-push. He's on 2-item spike. We've talked about it for 10 years of League of Legends. It's as good as it's ever been. So he has the potential to turn these fights around if T1 cannot find a way to shut him out.
Especially since Creme on this Sylas has cut down a lot on Faker's gold lead, and he can create room for JackeyLove in these team fights with a Galio on top of now a 2-item Sylas and really good ults to steal. You saw the idea last time around, stealing away the Rakan ult, being such a tanky possible engager here. Both Creme and Meiko to set up for possible 369 ults.
I do apologize for setting false expectations as we have 4 kills at 22 minutes.
It's okay. We forgive you.
I felt guilty about it.
I can't say
I just want to bring it up.
We'll forgive you, but we forgive you, Mal. You never hold a
that.
grudge. That said, I feel like Baron, as it was in the previous game, is probably where we're likely to see these fist fights. Keria and Meiko fighting a Pokemon battle as their junglers wait behind them. Creme now trying to retreat. Both ultis forced out here. Again, it's really a game of attrition. Who can get better setup? Who has their waves in a better spot? Who has better cooldowns available? And so many of these micro moves might not initially seem important, but they are team fight defining.
And after a play like that, you know, the real big benefit is the extra 30 seconds that you kind of get for Creme, because he forces Faker back to base. And so Faker goes to regenerate his health, but Creme then pushing out on the bottom side to get the minion wave moving in their favor. See what they can do with it, with top side pushing now, as well as bottom side. TES also have the advantage in vision. Control wards laid down around the Baron, so the minions pushing, the vision set up there. JackeyLove quite safe in mid lane.
All the sums are available almost on either side. So a lot of volatility in this fight. 50 seconds. The setup is already starting. This is the possible soul win here for TES.
And you can see the poking and prodding. Both teams know if they overcommit and don't find those key targets, they're going to get torn to pieces. Guma on 2 items. This Xayah, if you hit the fight into her, you're going to get torn apart. Now, the same is true, though, for the Ezreal. And so unless a key target missteps, as it was in the previous topside fight where Tian overextended a little bit, Either side wants to be the one to overforce. Keria, though, caught by a bit of CC. Charm to try and interrupt. Bit of trading of health bars. Aftershock down, as well as Celestial opposition, though, means Meiko is quite squishy for at least the next 30 seconds.
Banana brush control here for T1. Baker fishing for some poke.
Charm gonna go wide. Meiko's so incredibly low.
The poke from Guma here. Is Meiko actually going to have to
recall
reset?
They just have to give it up. Without Meiko, I don't think you can team fight. And it's just a second Drake.
Just the poke there. Baker, Guma, T1. Finding an objective with chunk damage.
Back mid, they don't want to concede mid-tier 1.
Actually really like this from TES. So they identified that they can't make it. Zeus had already pathed towards bot trying to get that turret. And then instead TES pushed really hard in mid, forcing out a TP. The turret will still fall to the minions, but I think getting that cooldown is a big win nonetheless. And they hold on to this mid lane turret though.
And you have to understand, despite the small goal difference, these teams are so damn close. Equalizer comes out. The TES, again, don't want to overcommit. Every objective, every setup, every small cooldown exchange just continues to build pressure on both sides. Both teams know if they are the one to fail, if they are the one to fumble in a team fight, this entire game will slip away from them.
You see T1 checking the Baron here, making sure that TS are not going for anything fishy there. It's going to come down to the clutch factor of these mid and late game team fights. The setup here, you can see, just hinging on a little bit of poke damage. You don't even have to get the kill. Force them back to base, and
look,
you get the objective.
I'm just saying, you're down a game against T1, and now the analysis is you have to out-clutch them. That's a lot for anyone to deal with. We talked about Creme earlier for Tian as well. These are players who have achieved so many things, right? But I think still, you look back to last year, it's so crucial that an LPL team can take down T1, not just because they haven't done it at Worlds, but because of what happened last year in TES. Coming into this tournament, you would have thought that they would be favorites to do so. Now, can they show that level of performance? 369, good initial taunt, get some poke onto Faker, but it's really all about the objective setup.
Electrocute proc. Man, 369 not taking a lot of damage there. And without Guma, they're just not going to be able to shred through this guy. If he's there, that obviously changes the equation. Approaching his third item now, and this turret still being held onto as Keria did get spotted there on that Banana Brush ward.
Keria locked up, good initial CC. Ulti coming out from Creme as well. Charm will be traded. For now, just the ultimate cooldown. In the meantime, they're losing their mid lane tier 1. Not hurting too much. JackeyLove going forward. Faker dashing away.
Another.
Somebody needs to die! Guys, why am I here? I'm just gonna I'll shut up. I play caster. There's nothing to play. They're not killing each other.
Are you telling me you're not satisfied with 2/3 of an HP bar?
No! No. But Tian might not be either.
No,
he is. He is. Okay, my bad.
We're playing for objectives, Drakos.
The bot side is also
to
pushing
clear the
for them.
wave. Bot wave pushed in, forces response. TES have priority access on the Baron. They don't have the best Baron taking comp right now in terms of itemization. It's not the Blade on the Viego or the Kraken. It is Black Cleave versus Thunder's guy.
We are biding our time, okay? We will strike when the iron is hot. We will not make a mistake. And I think either team, for T1, it's understandable because if they're able to win this game, they're up 2 match points. And for TES, trying to fight your way out of that against T1 of all teams will be a nightmare.
I feel like we are very close to Drakos going on strike and just not even talking until there is an actual team fight.
But actually, Drakos, I think we have a good 5 points. Maybe you can get us a cup of tea.
It's right. I'll be back, guys. I'm sorry. You guys just, if they fight, holler, and I'll shout.
Yeah, we'll get you over here.
I'll be back.
Okay, we wouldn't do that to Drake. That'd be very.
Drakos!
He jumped.
Why would you? You know, I wasn't joking when I said the tension is building. All it takes is like every time a support is in a brush, just like this, we are seconds away from perfect CC layering into death into Baron.
They are proccing opposite. Well, at least Meiko's got procced. Just getting that cooldown.
That 30-second cooldown.
Oh yeah.
Again, they keep toying with us again, though, because TS are able to push the side lanes. They are able to get step 1, push side lanes in. Then you look around. When are we going to get the full commitment, though? T1 are just so touch and go while still looking for poke here, you know, walking up and getting small chunks of health. The tower in mid lane, the most important one, still stands for T1. Their point of defense here, their point of safety.
JackeyLove trying to poke as much as he can, and you see it is landing.
T1 pulling their way in.
Is this the time?
Crab taken down. You can see Gumayusi deletes waves. Ezreal can get to them first, but Guma kills them so much faster. Engage from Keria going to go a little bit wide. Has the battle dance
Oh,
to
the
make his
poke!
way.
Jackie hitting some crucial poke here.
In the slow battle,
He's had
TES
enough.
favored thus far. Again, if they could bait 1 or 2 ultis, it's easy for them to continue to step up.
Jackie with a couple of forward-facing arcane shifts. You can tell he really wants it now.
Neither team sitting on soul point as
Oh,
well,
yeah.
so neither team can commit too heavily towards this Drake. At the point in the game we're in now, approaching 30 minutes, either team can definitely take down that Baron in a very short amount of time. With Keria down a heal, down his health bar, this time TES are looking to take this dragon uncontested. And T1 want a big T1.
They weren't willing to force.
Oh, the poke again.
I mean, Navori allows Guma to just obliterate this objective, but that initial bit of poke hitting him does matter. Tian doesn't have enough vision here to be confident to step up. TES instead fighting for mid-wave control, and we go again. This dance, this back and forth prodding, hoping to find these cooldowns.
The weight of this moment, either team knows. Viego resets, Ahri resets. One misstep.
Keria again fishing. In the earlier fight, it paid off for him.
They know that T1 are so famous for burning Barons that TS don't
Command
even
to start it.
They don't even want to take the dragon.
Excellent charm! Lineup is there. Support down. T1 strike the initial blow. TES, do they feel like they have to fight here? T1 looking to bully off the mid wave. Equalizer goes down. Not going to find much effect. And Faker's low. They're down a man. But the ulti now coming in. Faker able to walk away. Ezreal not going to connect. Crucially, Creme 369 ready to step forward. JackeyLove safe for now, knowing a lot of those ults are missing, knowing that Faker is out of the fight for a moment. But he's recalling and he has the TP, he can find the flank. There's so much vision around TES, they have to be careful about overcommitting. Now finally they will sweep away these TP wards.
Oh, a lot of damage is still done to T1 though. Baron, Chunk still, Meiko, he's running, but 4 members, they spotted. There they attempt to flank.
They don't have perfect information. Keria now trying to make his way out. This charm crucially coming through, hitting 4 members. T1 is taking so much time, and Oner goes in, Oner finds Jackie. Ulti going in, Creme still stepping up, 369 taken out, Keria on the side, slowly but surely T1 are taking the fight. Meiko looks to make the difference, the Guma goes up in the air and comes right back down, dragging the hopes of TES alongside them, as again, T1 finds the fight, Faker on a rampage, Faker doing it all in the moments where it matters.
Keria's dancing on the corpses of TES! That was insane footwork from the Rakan! That's a clean ace! For the Baron! And possibly for the game!
As the tension builds and deflates in just a moment.
Fellas, it's a clean 10-0.
And you look back, you highlighted Keria. Again, that sidestep is everything. The fact that that stun does not hit from Tian allows him to do so much work.
And what's crucial here is Meiko isn't there, so 369 has to play for a forward to buy space for his carries. But then he does get obliterated by Gumayusi, and they just don't have the damage. Jackie again taken very low. And then Faker, in the end, cleans it up.
At the end of all that, I have one question for you. Drakos, was it worth the wait?
Yes, 100%. How could it not be?
Thank you. That was beautiful work here, and we're talking about clutch factor and coming down to this next fight. And T1 completely outplayed. That was a clean ace. 10-0 the score with the Baron, with the Dragon. They want more.
Creme trying to make his way out. He's already been chomped. He's already been locked up. Perfect CC layering means the Sylas is on his way out of there, but he manages to get the dashes out. In time, he holds on. Again, name of the game is survival now for TES. They were on even footing for so long, but with this Baron buff empowering T1, they have to play on the back foot. They have to respect the potential for the push here, concede these tier 2s, give up what they have to, hope to find another fight, another chance to come back in this game.
Zeus, Gumayusi, and Keria have not yet died in this series. There have been so little kills. These fights, as explosive as they are,
I feel like I have to apologize also because I was promising like banger back and forth 5-game series,
Yeah.
but with the form that T1 are showing, that is not the case. They are dominating.
Discipline. So solid, and now they have a lead. Now they can afford to take risks. TES caught out. Faker coming over the wall. Beautiful equalizer into 3. Now all the TES backline has been forced away from the fight. Creme isolating the 1v1, tries to take an equalizer of his own, but it does not matter because Jackie is in trouble. Jackie trying to make the difference with the orb of deception, takes him down. Zeus in the 1v1, but not for long. Oner on the way. Wind becomes lightning, will not connect. T1 forced back, but the base of TES is crumbling.
You've got world champions inside your base. What do you do?
not a whole lot. There's no members. Only Tian and Creme trying to hold on, but they don't have the items, they don't have the wave, they don't have the wave clear. He goes in.
Charms in, but there's nothing he can do on a knife's edge for so long, but in the clutch, T1 again show up to move on to match point.
15-0?
I watched this team barely make it past KT. I watched this team lose to DK. And now they're up 2-0 in this quarterfinal. Absolutely boggles the mind.
The tenacity of this team starting to feel impossible to surmount. T1 moving up to match point. We're going to head to a quick break. When we return, will it be the final game for TES at Worlds, or will they bounce back in Game 3?